Let me ask you something. When was the last time you did something just for yourself? Not for approval, not for applause, not for recognition, just for you. Think about it. Most people spend their lives trying to impress others, trying to fit in, trying to prove themselves to a world that barely notices. They post their plans on social media, seeking validation from people who don't care. They share their dreams with doubters, hoping for encouragement that never comes. And here's the irony. While they're busy chasing approval, they're losing themselves, losing their focus, losing their purpose, losing the chance to become the person they were meant to be. Today, I want to talk to you about something powerful, something life-changing, focusing on yourself and staying silent. Because in a world that constantly tells you to share, to shout, to prove, there is strength in staying silent. If there is wisdom in focusing inward. And if you learn this, my friends, if you master this, you'll discover a strength and clarity that most people will never know. Are you ready to stop chasing noise and start building something real? Let's dive in. In this world, we're constantly bombarded with noise. Noise from the outside and noise from within. The television, the phone, social media, conversations, opinions. All of it. It's a never-ending stream that pulls us in, distracts us, and keeps us from ever truly hearing our own thoughts. And while the world thrives on this constant chatter, silence has become a rare commodity. But let me tell you something, silence is where power lies. True power. You see, silence is not just the absence of sound. It's the presence of clarity. It's the space where you can finally hear your own voice, where you can listen to your thoughts, and, most importantly, where you can listen to yourself. Not the version of yourself you present to the world, but the real, raw version. The one that knows your true desires, your hidden fears, your strengths, and your weaknesses. Let's face it, most people never really hear themselves because they never stop talking. We're too busy seeking validation from others, too eager to prove ourselves, to stop and listen to the voice that truly matters, the voice that comes from within. And as a result, we miss out on the most valuable insights we could ever receive. I'll tell you a story. Early in my life, I was always looking for answers outside of myself. I'd read books, attend seminars, seek advice from mentors, and listen to anyone who seemed to have the answer. But it wasn't until I spent time alone in silence that I realized something profound. All the answers I was searching for were already inside me. The problem was, I hadn't given myself the time or space to listen. The truth is, most people avoid silence because they fear what they might find. They fear facing the uncomfortable truths, the regrets, the mistakes, and the doubts. But here's the paradox. It's in that very discomfort that growth happens. It's in the silence that you confront yourself, your real self. And it's in this confrontation that transformation begins. Imagine this: you're sitting alone, no distractions, no noise. The thoughts begin to flow. At first, they're chaotic, unsettling. But as the minutes pass, they begin to settle. And with that calm, clarity emerges. You begin to see things as they are, not as you wish them to be. You start to understand your true desires, what drives you, what holds you back. And in that moment, you realize that the key to your next step, to your next level of success, has always been right there inside you. But silence requires something more. It requires courage. Courage to face yourself, to confront the hard truths, and to be vulnerable enough to listen to what your inner voice is saying. It's easy to keep busy, to keep talking, to keep moving, because in motion, we can avoid the discomfort of silence. But when you choose to embrace silence, you step into your power. Now, let me ask you, how often do you really take time for silence? Not just a few minutes of peace, but real, intentional quiet. When was the last time you sat with yourself, free from all distractions, and allowed your mind to settle? When we embrace silence, we start to tap into a well of wisdom that is often drowned out by the constant noise around us. In silence, we hear the voice of our intuition, our true purpose, and our unspoken dreams. It's in the quiet moments that we can hear the calling of our soul, the deep desires that get drowned out by the clutter of everyday life. The power of silence is not just about being quiet. It's about being present. It's about being fully aware of yourself, your thoughts, and your emotions without the noise of the world telling you what to think or feel. When you allow yourself this space, you begin to see things differently. You begin to hear the whispers of your inner wisdom. And let me tell you, my friends, that wisdom will guide you to places you never thought possible. So I challenge you. Take some time this week. No, take some time today to sit in silence. Put away your phone. Turn off the TV. Close the laptop. And simply sit with yourself. Listen to your thoughts, your feelings, your fears, and your desires. And as you do, understand that in this silence, there is power. The power to change your life. The power to hear the answers you've been seeking. The power to step into the person you were meant to be. Because in silence, you don't just hear yourself. You begin to truly know yourself. And when you know yourself, that's when the magic happens. That's when everything changes. Now, some of you might be thinking, isn't focusing on myself a little selfish? Shouldn't I be focusing on others, on helping, on making a difference? And let me tell you, I get it. We've all been taught that putting ourselves first feels wrong, like it's a betrayal of others, like we should be constantly giving, constantly serving. But here's the truth that most people miss. You can't pour from an empty cup. If you don't focus on yourself first, your health, your growth, your clarity, how can you possibly give your best to the world around you? You can't. It's like trying to build a house on a foundation of sand. No matter how hard you work, how much effort you put in, it's going to collapse sooner or later. Think about it. Every time you give away all your energy without replenishing it, you're simply running on empty. You might help others, you might give advice, you might even achieve success for a while. But without focusing on yourself, that success won't last. It's like filling a bucket that has holes in it. You keep pouring in, but the bucket never stays full. I've seen it happen so many times. People burn out. They help others, they support their families, they try to meet every demand. But in the process, they lose themselves. They forget who they are, what they need, and what truly makes them happy. In the end, they're left with nothing to give. But here's the paradox: when you focus on yourself, you actually become more valuable to others. You get stronger. You get clearer. You become more capable of making an impact. And the reason is simple. When you take the time to invest in yourself, you're able to give from a place of abundance, not scarcity. Think about the people you admire, the ones who truly make a difference. They aren't the ones who are constantly running around trying to meet everyone else's needs. No, the ones who make the biggest impact are the ones who've taken the time to develop themselves first. They've worked on their health, their mindset, their skills, their emotional well-being. And as a result, they have the strength and energy to lift others up. When you focus on yourself, you begin to realize that you can't truly help others if you're not whole yourself. Self-care, personal growth, and developing a strong foundation are not acts of selfishness. They are acts of self-respect. You're showing yourself that you're worth the investment. And when you do that, others begin to notice. They start to respect you more because they see that you value yourself enough to make your growth a priority. Let me tell you, I've had people say to me, "Jim, why do you take so much time for yourself? Why do you work so hard on your own growth?" And my answer is simple: I do it because I can't serve others unless I'm at my best. I can't help you if I'm running on empty, if I'm mentally exhausted, if I haven't taken the time to grow. I have to become the person I want to be before I can truly help anyone else. So here's the point: focusing on yourself is not a selfish act. It's an act of responsibility. It's a commitment to becoming the best version of yourself so that you can give your best to others. Now, I want you to think about this. Are you the best version of yourself right now? Are you investing in your health, your mindset, your skills, your relationships? Or are you constantly giving to others without considering what you need? The world needs you at your best. It needs your energy, your ideas, your talents, your love. But you can only give those things when you've taken the time to fill yourself up first. So, I encourage you to stop feeling guilty about focusing on yourself. Take the time to nurture your mind, body, and soul. Work on your goals, your vision, your personal development. And as you do, know this: the more you focus on becoming the best version of yourself, the more you'll have to give to others. In the long run, the people around you will benefit far more from the version you, who's taken time for self-growth, than from the version of you who's spread too thin and worn out. Focus on yourself, because in doing so, you're setting yourself up to do more, give more, and be more for everyone around you. Remember, it's not selfish to focus on yourself. It's essential. And the sooner you embrace that, the sooner you'll discover the power of true giving. There's a certain strength that comes with silence. Most people don't understand this. In fact, we've been conditioned to think that silence is a sign of weakness. Society encourages us to speak up, to make noise, to be heard. And while there's a time for speaking and sharing, there's also immense power in the quiet moments. When you stay silent, you don't have to prove anything. You don't need to chase after validation. You are enough in that moment without the need for anyone else to confirm it. And this is where true power lies. It's not in the noise, the constant chatter, or the need to be seen. True strength comes from knowing that you can be silent and still be strong. I want to share a thought with you that changed my life. The most powerful people I've met have often been the quietest. The ones who don't feel the need to talk constantly, to dominate every conversation, or to make their opinions known at every opportunity. They have a quiet confidence about them, a peace that doesn't require validation. And here's why silence is so powerful. It allows you to observe. When you stop talking, you start listening. You start paying attention to everything around you. You listen to what others are saying, but more importantly, you listen to what they're not saying. You hear the things that are left unsaid, the subtle cues, the body language, the energy in the room. This is a skill that most people miss because they're too busy talking, too busy trying to be noticed. When you stay silent, you create space for clarity. You remove the distractions, and you give your mind the time it needs to think, to reflect, and to understand. It's in those moments of silence that the answers start to come. Your subconscious mind is always working, always processing, but it can't work if you're constantly filling the space with noise. Think of it like this. Have you ever been in a crowded room, trying to have a conversation, but everyone is speaking at once? It's chaos. You can't hear anything clearly. But when the noise dies down, when people begin to listen, the conversation becomes clearer. And this is how it is with your own mind. When you quiet the noise around you, the answers become clearer, the path forward becomes more visible. But silence isn't just about observation or clarity. It's also about control. When you choose to remain silent, you are taking control over your thoughts and emotions. You are not reacting to every comment, every situation, every distraction. You're not letting the world dictate your emotional state. Instead, you choose to remain centered, unaffected, and in control. Let's be honest, how many times have you found yourself speaking out of frustration or anger? How many times have you said something you later regretted? It happens to all of us. But when you practice silence, you give yourself the power to control your reactions. You don't let the world push you around emotionally. You become stronger because you understand that you don't need to act to every stimulus. You can choose how you respond. And here's another truth about silencing: it builds respect. People respect those who know when to speak and when to remain silent. In a world that thrives on noise, someone who chooses silence stands out. It's not weakness. It's strength. When you speak less, people start to listen more. Your words become more meaningful because they are used sparingly, thoughtfully, and intentionally. There's a reason that some of the most influential leaders throughout history were known for their silence. They didn't feel the need to speak every time a thought came to mind. They understood that in silence, there is wisdom. In silence, there is power. You may be thinking, but what if I need to speak up? What if I need to defend myself or make my opinion known? I'm not saying you should never speak. I'm saying that when you're grounded in silence, your words will carry more weight. They'll come from a place of clarity, not emotional reaction. They'll come from a place of true strength, not desperation. I want to challenge you to embrace silence more often, not as a way of avoiding problems or conversations, but as a way of strengthening yourself. In silence, you give yourself the opportunity to reflect, to listen, and to respond thoughtfully. You don't let the world dictate your reactions. You choose to stand firm, centered in your own strength. The strength of staying silent isn't about being passive. It's about taking control. It's about knowing when to speak and when to stay quiet. It's about understanding that sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is nothing at all. The more you practice silence, the stronger you become. And eventually, people will start to respect you not just for what you say, but for the power you demonstrate in choosing when to say nothing at all. So, take a moment to reflect on when was the last time you truly practiced silence? When did you last step back and listen instead of speaking? Try it. Spend some time in silence today, whether it's in a quiet room during a walk or simply sitting alone with your thoughts. You might be surprised by the strength you discover in that quiet space, because in silence you find your true power. In this world, energy is everything. It's the driving force behind your thoughts, your actions, your success, and your happiness. But here's the problem: most people don't guard their energy. They let it slip away bit by bit without even realizing it. And once it's gone, they wonder why they're tired, frustrated, or stuck in life. Let me tell you, your energy is precious, and it deserves to be protected. Think of your energy like a bank account. Every day, you're either making deposits or withdrawals. Every time you give your time, your attention, your emotions, you're making a withdrawal. And if you're not careful, you'll end up bankrupt with nothing left to give. The key to protecting your energy is understanding that you are in control of how it is spent. You don't have to give it away to everyone who asks. You don't have to be at the mercy of other people's demands. You have the power to choose where your energy goes. And it's time you started making those choices wisely. Let's start by talking about the people in your life. We all know those individuals who drain us. They're the ones who are always negative, always complaining, always asking for something but never giving anything in return. These people are energy vampires. They don't mean to do it, but they'll take everything you've got and leave you feeling exhausted and empty. And if you're not careful, they'll suck the life right out of you. But here's the truth: you don't have to keep these people around. It's okay to set boundaries. It's okay to say no. And it's okay to distance yourself from those who drain you. I'm not saying you should cut people out of your life without a second thought, but you have to be mindful of who you allow into your inner circle. Your energy is too valuable to be given away to people who won't appreciate it or reciprocate it. On the flip side, there are those who inspire you, who lift you up, who encourage you to be your best. These are the people you want to surround yourself with. These are the ones who contribute to your growth, to your success, to your happiness. But even with these people, you need to be careful not to overextend yourself. Even the most positive relationships can be draining if you're constantly giving without replenishing. You have to balance your energy. Give yes, but also take the time to refuel. Then, there's the energy you spend on your thoughts. Have you ever found yourself ruminating on something that's bothering you? Maybe a conversation you had, a mistake you made, or a problem you're facing. These thoughts are like small leaks in your energy reservoir. Every time you dwell on something negative, You're giving away a little more of your precious energy. The more you focus on what's wrong, the more energy you lose. This is where silence comes in again. Silence allows you to break the cycle of negative thinking. It gives you the space to reset, to clear your mind, to stop obsessing over things you can't control. When you protect your energy, you stop letting every little problem, every little negative thought drain you. You learn to let go of what you can't change and focus on what you can. Another big energy drain comes from overcommitting. You know the feeling. You say yes to everything, trying to please everyone, trying to be everywhere at once. And before you know it, you're stretched so thin that you have nothing left for yourself. Your energy is scattered, your mind is scattered, and you're constantly running on empty. This is a fast track to burnout. You need to learn to say no. No to things that don't align with your goals. No to things that don't contribute to your growth. No to people who only take and never give. And most importantly, no to the temptation to do it all. The power of no is the power to protect your energy. Every time you say no to something that doesn't serve you, you're making a deposit into your energy bank. But it's not just about saying no. It's also about saying yes to the right things. Saying yes to your health. Yes to your growth. Yes to the things that matter most. Saying yes to yourself. When you say yes to things that fuel your energy, whether it's working out, reading, learning, or spending time with loved ones, you are investing in your future. Here's something I want you to understand: your energy is limited. You can't give it away to everyone and everything without consequences. If you're constantly running on empty, if you're constantly drained, you won't be able to show up for the people who matter most. You won't be able to show up for your goals, for your dreams, for your own happiness. So, start protecting your energy like it's the most precious resource you have. Because it is. Guard it fiercely. Make conscious decisions about where it goes, who it goes to, and how you spend it. Set boundaries. Say no when you need to. Say yes to the things that fuel you. And above all, remember this: when your energy is protected, you can give your best to the world. Protecting your energy isn't just a luxury. It's a necessity. Without it, you have nothing left to give. But with it, you become unstoppable. I want you to think about something. What is your greatest asset? Now, you might be thinking about your house, your car, your investments, or even your career. But let me tell you something you might not have realized. Your greatest asset is you. Yes, you. The person you see in the mirror every day. The person with all the potential, all the power, all the capability to create something incredible in this world. But here's the key: you won't realize your full potential if you don't invest in yourself first. You won't realize the incredible value you hold unless you start seeing yourself as the asset that you truly are. And becoming your greatest asset doesn't happen by chance. It takes time, effort, and most importantly, intentional action. Too many people spend their entire lives focusing on external things, building businesses, buying things, chasing after the next shiny object, without ever investing in the one thing that will make all of that possible themselves. You see, the world is full of distractions, and it's easy to get caught up in what everyone else is doing. But the most successful people know that their first investment is in their own growth. They know that the more they develop themselves, the more they unlock their own potential. Here's the true thing: if you don't invest in yourself, nobody else will. People will only value to the extent that you value yourself. If you want to be successful, if you want to be happy, if you want to make a real impact in this world, you have to start by becoming your own greatest asset. Think about it if you were a business. Would you be investing in the business or letting it run itself into the ground? Of course, you'd invest in it. You'd hire the best people, you'd improve your systems, you'd make sure your operations run smoothly. Well, you are the business. You are the investment. So, what are you doing to invest in your own growth? Investing in yourself isn't just about reading books or taking courses. although those things certainly help. It's about taking care of your mind, your body, and your spirit. It's about developing the skills, the habits, and the mindset that will propel you towards success. Every day, you are either growing or stagnating. There is no in between. And let me be clear, this isn't about vanity or ego. It's not about thinking you're better than anyone else or seeking approval from others. It's about understanding your own worth and committing to becoming the best version of yourself. It's about realizing that you have the power to shape your future, that you have the ability to create the life you want, but only if you take ownership of your own development. This process begins with self-discipline. Self-discipline is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. It's what separates the people who dream from the people who do. It's what allows you to stay focused, to put in the hard work, and to keep going even when things get tough. You see, success isn't about being lucky. It's about being disciplined enough to keep showing up day after day, no matter the obstacles in your way. Another key part of becoming your greatest asset is mastering your mindset. Your mind is the foundation of everything you do. The way you think, the beliefs you hold, the stories you tell yourself. These are the things that shape your reality. If you want to change your life, you first need to change your mindset. You need to believe that you are worthy of success, that you have the ability to achieve your goals, and that you have the power to overcome any challenge that comes your way. But there's a catch: in your mindset doesn't just magically change overnight. You have to work at it. You have to challenge the limiting beliefs that have been ingrained in you over the years. You have to replace the negative self-talk with positive affirmations. You have to stop doubting yourself and start believing in your own potential. And here's something I want you to understand. Becoming your greatest asset also means protecting your peace. Peace is not just the absence of conflict, it's the ability to remain centered, to stay calm amidst chaos, and to protect your mental and emotional well-being. It's about knowing what you need to do in order to recharge and refresh so that you can show up as the best version of yourself every single day. Too often, people let the noise of the world drown out their inner peace. They let stress, anxiety, and negativity take over. They let the opinions of others dictate their actions. But when you prioritize your peace, when you make it a non-negotiable part of your daily routine, you create the mental clarity and emotional stability you need to succeed. You must also embrace the power of consistency. Success doesn't happen in a day, a week, or even a month. It takes time. It takes effort. It takes consistency. But if you commit to showing up every day and putting in the work, no matter how small the steps, you will eventually reap the rewards. Little by little, you will build the habits, the mindset, and the skill set that will make you unstoppable. And finally, remember this: becoming your greatest asset means showing up for yourself every single day. It means making the decision that you are worth the effort. You are worth the time, the energy, the sacrifice. When you invest in yourself, you become more than just a person going through the motions. You become a person on a mission, a person with purpose, a person who knows their worth and is willing to do what it takes to reach their full potential. So, I ask you, are you ready to invest in yourself? Are you ready to become your own greatest asset? If you are, then make the commitment today. Take action. Start building the life you deserve, one small investment at a time. Because when you make the decision to invest in yourself, you unlock the power to create everything you've ever wanted. You are your greatest asset. Believe it, embrace it, and act on it. As we wrap up, remember this: the most powerful thing you can do is focus on yourself. Protect your energy, invest in your growth, and become the greatest asset you have. Your future starts with the choices you make today. Stay silent, stay focused, and watch as your life transforms. The journey begins with you. Keep moving forward,